This is the Heeresküstenbatterie Heuqueville Fire Control Post Bunker Extended Sidewalk. If you have not yet seen the original film on the fire control post itself, which overhangs the coastline, please watch that also, a link of which will be available at the end of this film. And protecting the battery as well as the fire control post was of course a installation of a anti-aircraft or flak cannon, and we can look at that right now. So this is a open flak emplacement. Usually the flak guns were made by Rheinmetall Borsig, who were given a very large defense contract by the German government in World War II. It utilized a 20mm caliber gun system to combat low-flying attack aircraft, and it was somewhat portable in nature as it could be towed along roads by a vehicle and then set into position by its operating crew. This 2cm flak 30, flak meaning Fliegerabwehrkanone, which translates to anti-aircraft cannon. The barrel was chambered for the 138mm B cartridge. Ammunition recesses. The flak 30 was crewed usually by up to 5 personnel, although in practice, once set down, you needed less. Well, this looks like it's part of the armament. Now, this 20mm weapon was in fact fed into the firing chamber by a 20-round box magazine. So, this to me looks like modular armor plating. Wow, maybe from a flak 30, maybe. We're now situated well behind the Heuqueville Fire Control Post bunker. You can see here a open emplacement area for a 10.5cm gun. This was a gun commonly used by the German army in World War II. It was called the LEFH-18, which stood for Leichte Feldhaubitze 18, and it was their howitzer. A light howitzer introduced in the mid-1930s and used as standard divisional artillery. It was normally operated by a crew of between 6 to 8 men. It fired high explosive shells to ranges of around 10 to 12 kilometers from simple earth or concrete field positions such as this. So a little bit hard to find, but if you have a keen eye, you can find these things. So just behind the observation post, behind the flak gun, here is the location of the battery, the 10.5cm battery. 6 open circular concrete emplacements were designed to be used here at Heuqueville, and they were used, of course, for coastal defense against Allied shipping. Okay, that was the location of the battery, and here we can just make out the remains of a barrack. There it is. It's on private land, so it's going to be very difficult to visit that one. I almost would have walked past it. It's like finding Wally. Where's the German bunker? Well, it's right here. It's right in front of us. Right in front of us. Okay. Wow. Okay, it's this is in very good condition. I'm just going to get a stick because there's a lot of bugs and spiders. As I've said this before, when you live in Australia with the deadliest, most venomous animals on earth, these sort of European things don't worry me too much, but I prefer not to have my face full of bugs. So I get myself a little stick, or a big stick for that matter, and at least clear them. Alright, let's have a look. My lead lens head torch on. Thanks again, Lead Lenser, for sponsoring Klovekorn Relic Hunter. And here we go. Wow. Okay. This is in very original condition. I have never ever seen a door like that in all my years of doing this. Never. Oh, there are more mosquitoes here. Whoa, there are a billion mosquitoes here. Check this out, it's a wooden door. Never seen a wooden door before. A wooden door. Well, I'll be in that German guard post fashion. Come on. Use a stick for leverage. Open that. Okay, how do I open this thing? Just having a look at how far back this thing goes. How big is this bunker? Seems to be a sizable very sizable. So that would have housed the soldiers that were here. And in fact, I just met a German called Thomas, and he became a subscriber, and his father worked here. Well, he was actually a doctor, and he was drafted and he had to come and fight here in Normandy whether he wanted to or not. Typical story for the Germans. He came here and he treated soldiers for syphilis, would you believe? And anyway, when the Germans lost the war, he had such a good relationship with the farmer just behind the observation post that he and his family would come here every year for 11 years, including Thomas, who's now my age roughly, and they would have this holiday with this French farmer. So, you know, it's not all doom and gloom stories here at Normandy. The Germans and the French had also very positive relations, and let's not forget, France gets its name from the Franks, and the Franks, well, they're actually a German tribe. Something that has occurred to me in going to this place, and it's mirrored throughout Normandy, is that the Germans would build these defensive lines with their own barracks. They didn't take the houses of the French and live in those. They could have, they were the occupiers. No, they chose not to do that. They chose to stay away from the villages. It's interesting, isn't it?
Over dragon's teeth and wire, as oak leaves fall to ground, the sound of war inspires, but fate of will was drowned. The left undermines the value of truth so dearly lost. No sacrifice remembered by the heroes he did cross. A hero is